All right, thank you for joining. Today we will go over Nvda or Nvidia, however you want to say it. And overall, this project I believe is a little overpriced, right? But that's for the markets to decide. What we're going to do is just trade the charts. And right now, looking at Nvidia, we can see it's clearly in a downtrend. It's been downtrending for pretty much ever since the year started, right? We have broken through this upward trend line, reclaimed it, but it's still looking a little bit bearish, like it wants to curl over and target 167, right? Now, the only time I would actually switch to being bullish is if we were to reclaim this trend line and build some value above it. Then I would say, okay, let's go ahead and target at least $200. Obviously, all-time highs would be the overall target. Let me go ahead and get rid of this right now. And yeah, I had a little note that said bearish, wait for the move up, then short from the trend line to target equal lows, right? So similar to what happened here, just kind of waiting for that same thing to happen. It already filled the gap. So I would not be surprised if tomorrow we do get that push to the downside one more time, right? We could even possibly get a fake out to the upside before coming back down. That's another thing that happens very frequently with charts. Fake out, then comes back down towards these lows, which sits at around 164. So let's just see how this all plays out for Nvidia. If we go ahead and just zoom out a little bit, it's just been very bullish, right? This was, let's see here. Let me go ahead and update this chart, right? So 2025 highs, it's 2025 lows. The lows are probably not as relevant, but let's go ahead and update it regardless, right? Go ahead and update this as well. Yeah, a lot of labels, but you got to keep things organized, right? So very bullish. Last quarter had an indecision candle, which, just means the market is kind of stuck between the value of deciding the value of Nvidia, and that's how we're kind of just stalled up here. If we go down to the monthly, we had a very big bearish engulfing monthly candle. That's just kind of setting the tone for what I believe is next to come, which can even be a pretty big push, right? This bearish engulfing candle could definitely be a very big push to the downside. I would not be surprised if we end up trading all the way back down to $80, $86 for Nvidia. Pretty much just going off this bearish candle, right? Very bearish. We got to see if we start trading back above there, then this candle, this idea pretty much gets invalidated. But price is stalling out here at the top, right? It looks like it does want to move down lower, at least target 165. If we break those lows, then yeah, for sure I would then be looking to target $80, which sounds kind of crazy, right? But what's half of 180? $90. If it's a $4 trillion asset, it loses half its value. It's still sitting at about $2 trillion, which I believe is still top 15 when it comes to, or maybe even top 10 when it comes to stocks or companies on the New York Stock Exchange, right? So daily, let's go down to the daily here. Basically just the same idea. That's why right now I'm just looking at the 4 hour. I think the 4 hour is telling us all we need to know. It's looking a little bearish. It gets bullish above, in my opinion, above this 192 area. You want to see it really trade above 192, hold value, and then you can say, okay, it's more than likely going to target last year's highs. If not, you might get a fake out, like I said before, and then just move back down to test the equal lows at around 164. We try to keep things very straightforward, nothing too complicated with Nvidia. In my opinion, I would rather go short tomorrow, Friday, which is going to be the 23rd, just based off this price action. If we start losing this after filling this gap, right, then yeah, I would be looking to target 162. So let's see how this all plays out. Still bearish overall, and it's still a solid project. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more people coming into the picture when it comes to the semiconductor chips, all that stuff, right? And one to really keep an eye on, I believe, is going to be TSM, right? I'm sure it's been creating a massive hype. Tested this daily demand a lot of times, impulse higher. Now it's trading at 330. One of the top 10 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. So there's a lot of big players out there. Just have to see exactly how everything plays out here, right? But for now, like I said, eyes are on Nvidia, because this is really what controls the market. When you start looking at this chart compared to the SPY chart, it is very similar, right? Gap filled, waiting to see what happens. Nvidia, gap filled, waiting to see what happens, right? So very, very similar. Always track SPY or ES while trading these bigger assets. And that's pretty much it. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on X. I still try to post updates. Yeah, and still bearish until trend line is broken, right? Idea has not changed. So yeah, thank you for joining. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Until next time, take care.